When I was an elite athlete, I used to push my body pretty hard. I was a teenager and I would train in the gym 5 days a week, sometimes 6, up to 20, 25 hours of working out in a week. When I stopped training that way, it was a bit of an adjustment because I was so used to it. My body also needed rest, but I still had the mindset that I needed to push myself, that I needed to keep going. So I always had to find exercise and push myself, and I was always doing that because I thought that training that much and pushing my body was a normal way to be. Now, a few years later, when I got married and I had kids and my body just could not be pushed that way. I know with my first pregnancy, I wasn't able to exercise barely at all, which was so hard for me because I do love physical movement. I love working out, and I really couldn't for a few months because I was so sick. And then I had to try to adjust to a different way of being and not pushing myself, except you know what? I didn't know how to do that at all. I still had the mindset that I had to push myself, that I wasn't doing enough, that I needed to do more. And, years later, after I had 4 children, I ended up having some birth injuries that were never addressed right away. And I ended up having to address them later. And some of these issues actually go back to when I was a gymnast and then training so hard that things had never fully healed. And then I had to physically go back to those and try to heal them. And let me tell you, that is quite a process. So we get into these mindsets where we think that pushing ourselves is a normal way to be. And then when we have to reframe that and go, maybe rest and relaxation is more important sometimes than pushing my body beyond its limit. Now, I know I'm never going to be a marathon runner, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to be. I have learned that a really long walk is just as good for my body as it is me trying to run. I enjoy doing circle walking, which actually has little to no impact. And with the arm postures, you actually work the cardiovascular system. You work the balance, the equilibrium between your arterial and your venous side. You're working the fascia and everything. It gets your heart rate going, and I don't have to have impact. So over the years, I've learned that I don't need to push myself in order to be healthy, because that's what I thought was healthy, was when I was a gymnast, that was a healthy way to be. But that was an extreme version of being healthy. People don't need that much exercise just for your body to be healthy and to function properly. We often think that we have to push ourselves to extreme to be healthy, but that's not true. It isn't. There's a lot of literature out there. And, sometimes personal trainers, we can get these people because we think, we need to be pushed. We have to be pushed to do this. But you know what? You kind of don't. So make sure when you're working with people that they know what your comfort is and where you can be pushed. Like sometimes it's really about the discipline of our mind is to just get ourselves moving. It isn't that we need to push ourselves physically. It's that we really just, need to get off our butt and get going. So it's something to think about is when you feel like you have to push yourself, are you pushing yourself because this is a mindset that you've gotten used to? Or is it that maybe you're trying to change the way that you do things and relax more? Because the more relaxed you are, the better it is for your body. I know after my surgeries, one thing I learned was that tight muscles are weak muscles. And so then I was trying to exercise and everybody was like, oh, you could do all this stuff. And it's like, I actually had to go through a process of being able to relax the muscles that were really tight so I could actually work out, because I was starting to have physical problems that I didn't have before. But, I had to learn something new. So listening to yourself is so key all the time. Listen to yourself, hear the story that maybe what you did when you were a teenager or in your 20s isn't necessary when you're in your 30s and your 40s. Unless you're really training for something extreme, you don't have to push your body to an extreme. It isn't always healthy to push your body to an extreme. Just it's not healthy for us to push our minds to an extreme either. So there are just some, other ways to think about things and to learn how to change our perception of things.